Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing reentry permits and issuance through an airport. I thought of making this video after reading a recent comment on a prior video we did where we were talking about reentry permits in the context of Thai retirement visas. Quoting from that comment directly, I never did it, but you can get a reentry permit at Suvarnabhumi Airport quite easily. Okay, a couple of things to unpack here. Yeah, technically it is possible to get a reentry permit at any Thai airport on your way out of Thailand. If it's an international airport, they generally are going to have a reentry permit desk. I'm not saying this is always going to be the case, but in the past we have seen scenarios wherein somebody arrives at the airport to get a reentry permit and they're told, yeah, that desk is not open right now. And so you either have the choice of leaving and not missing your flight and letting your visa status lapse, or waiting around and going and getting a reentry permit, rescheduling the flight and leaving and dealing with it that way. I've personally been put into quite a little bind in a real way with regard to reentry permits because this was weird. I was leaving Don Mueang Airport when I still had a non-immigrant visa, but I was working on my residency and citizenship and all that good stuff. And I was, at the time, probably less than 3 months away from getting serious status sorted out. And I had to leave. I think I went to Cambodia. And I was going through Don Mueang, and I hadn't gotten my reentry permit. I usually do that when I get my visa extended, and I'll get into that in a minute. But I just, for whatever reason, that hadn't occurred. I was out there. Now, I knew that my reentry, if I did not have a reentry permit and I was stamped out of the country, my status would be nullified at that moment. And what was really spooky to me, it really made me uneasy, and to this day, this is why I really don't overall advise people to just depend on the airport service. The reentry permit desk was behind the counter from where you actually departed. You know, you had to be stamped out in order to go to the reentry permit desk at that time. I did not like this because, again, my future status was based on my prior status, and technically speaking, if I had been stamped out prior to the getting of a reentry permit, in theory at least, my status was dead at that moment. I explained this to the desk officer at immigration, who did not like it because I was gumming up the works for that person. You know, that immigration's kind of a conveyor belt. They want you to kind of keep moving. But I did not want to be stamped out before my reentry permit was issued. And so they had me stand at the side, and I had to wait. They put me through a good couple hours. I went early, kind of knowing that, yeah, I got to deal with this reentry permit thing. So I went an hour and a half, 2 hours early. And if you're going to take the chance with reentry permit issuance before you leave, it's a good idea to show up at the airport well ahead of the proposed flight. They took me off to the side and they said, okay, we understand your concern. You know, they were perfectly, I saw people who were being stamped out and went and got their reentry permit after. I didn't want to do that. There was too much at stake to my mind. So I stepped out of line and waited and waited and waited. They processed my reentry permit and then stamped me out. I know that seems semantic, but believe me, in my mind, it made a lot of difference. Long story short, yes, there are reentry permit kiosks at the airports, but as I stated a moment ago, my opinion is a way better idea to go ahead and deal with your reentry permit at the same time you deal with your non-immigrant visa extension, because I think you're saving yourself a lot of issues and a lot of possible, in my case, just indigestion caused by, you know, fretting and worrying about, okay, am I going to make my flight? Am I going to get this reentry permit issued? These immigration officers really don't love that I put them in this position. All of that's uncomfortable. Nobody wants to deal with that. So my opinion, if you're dealing with your reentry permit or you want a reentry permit, get it when you extend your visa status. Don't wait around and do it later while you're on your way out of the country. You've already got enough stuff to worry about. Why add one more thing? And in this case, one more really important thing.